Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. A mechanic that seems to be sort of rising in popularity right now within Warzone is TAC stance, sort of this hybrid ADS and hipfire movement upgrade that we got this year with MW3, and it's becoming more and more effective here in Warzone, particularly for close range based movement builds. And so with that today, I wanted to break down 5 of the best TAC stance based loadouts in the game right now. All of these are very fun. They're very niche though, because obviously your accuracy is not going to be as good as when you're aiming down sights, but your movement's going to be a lot better there. So it's got those interesting trade-offs here, and all these weapons are really based around close range exclusively. You're not going to be TAC stancing at 40, 50, 60 meters. But first up here, we've got the Ram 9, and really these setups are nowhere near all these other meta setups that we talk about for these guns. While the Ram is still a top SMG for normal style gameplay, the setup here is entirely based around maximizing your TAC stance essentially. So initially here, this is an attachment you're going to see on pretty much every build today. It's the Bastion angled grip. This helps out, as you can see in the pros, with TAC stance spread. Also helps out with some general stability and whatnot, which is cool too. But really, a 42% increase to that TAC stance spread positively is a huge buff. So that's obviously clutch for building out something based around TAC stance. I also go for the PEC Beam 5 laser in this case. It's bright, you're going to be able to see it, but it also is giving you a 30% increase there to TAC stance accuracy. So this thing's going to kind of be a laser. 50 round extended mag is pretty basic here. You want the extended mags on these builds because, like I said, you will miss a few more shots here because it is still like hybrid hip fire at the same time. I've got the motion TAC pad stock on here, again helping out with mobility and that TAC stance spread. Then lastly, just behind the face cam, I've got the demo flak comb. This thing does hurt your sprint to fire and sway, but it gives you a ton for TAC stance spread. So you add all 5 of these attachments on here, and if you want that screenshot with no face cam, by all means feel free to snap that. But you add all 5 of these on here, this thing is incredibly agile and accurate in the TAC stance movement. Very fun to use. Now another strong option for TAC stance is going to be the Haymaker shotgun. It's seen some nerfs over time, but in the close range it can still be very lethal, and as a shotgun in TAC stance it really does thrive here. I like this as opposed to like some pump action shotguns or whatnot, just because you can spam this and still be super agile in TAC stance combined. So initially here I've got the Crown Breaker choke, just because it's going to help out with that TAC stance spread, but also the general shotgun spread on there as well. We've got the Verdant hook box laser, helps out with TAC stance spread a decent amount there with the advanced stats. Bastion angled grip, yet again, as I was saying, this is going to be on pretty much every single build here today. The 20 round drums, the max here, it just allows you to spray and pray for days, so why not here? The more the merrier. Then lastly, just for some better movement across the board, I do go for the no stock mod. It does help out a bit with TAC stance spread, but of course it's helping out with sprint to fire, your general movement speed, strafe speed, everything like that. So that's gonna be pretty clutch in speeding you up, keeping you aggressive, and then also giving you the best TAC stance accuracy possible. If you can count how many times I've said TAC stance in this video by the time it ends, I'll send my carrier pigeon to you with a cookie, perhaps. And by the way, as we're breaking down all the loadouts here today, if you enjoyed the video, do me a favor, drop a like on it. And if you're new here or you simply have not subscribed yet, every single day I got you covered with all things going on in COD, so feel free to hit that sub button to always stay up to date. Next up here, this is probably my favorite TAC stance weapon at the moment, the BP50. It goes crazy in the close range. The BP50 is already a really aggressive rifle. You add TAC stance to it, and it is such a unique play style and such a unique build, but it's also so effective and so efficient at the same time. So again, initially here, we've got that Bastion angled grip, no change there. I've got the Hipshot L20 laser in this case, doing a lot for that TAC stance spread, of course. 45 round extended mag, your max here, pretty basic. I go for the CCG TAC tape, which helps out obviously with TAC stance spread. Then I go for the padded stock here. This is just some mobility based stuff to make the weapon still snappy and aggressive. Nothing else here is going to be helping out that TAC stance spread, so we just go for that, and it works very efficiently. Really like this build. Like I said, so different from our normal BP50 build, but really good just in its own unique way. Following that, I've got the base Striker, or the Striker 45. This thing is snappy and aggressive as an SMG already, and this build just makes it fly, especially when you're in that TAC stance. The movement, or the schmovement, is beautiful. It's so much fun to use. Surprise, surprise, we've got the Bastion angled grip on there yet again. I also go for the Hipshot L20 laser in this case too, same deal as before. 48 round extended mag works here. The 60 round extended mag would also work here if you want to go for just the max capacity option there, in case you are missing some shots there with that RNG, or that sort of bloom that's involved with TAC stance. That's a nice little safety net. No stock here, doing a decent amount for your TAC stance spread, but also just a lot of mobility across the board, so it keeps it nice and snappy. Then lastly, we go for the basic TAC grip, which helps out a decent amount with that TAC stance spread. So definitely optimized for this type of engagement, and it works really well. Hey everyone, real quick, wanted to take a second and highlight gamer advantage. Of course, in every single video, you guys see me rocking my Horizon frames, and even when I'm not recording videos, these are on all day, every day. I've said it before, I'll say it again. These are by far the most important part of my day-to-day setup. And the reason for that is that these allow me to be the most efficient I can be every single day. Wearing them, I'm getting reduced headaches, reduced eye strain, and best of all, I'm sleeping better at night, so I can wake up feeling nice and refreshed every single day to get back on that grind to make content for y'all. So if you're looking at screens for long periods of time, whether it be playing games, doing work, doing school, whatever the case is, do yourself a favor, get a pair of Gamer Advantage glasses. They offer prescription and regular lenses, a bunch of different frames and colorways, a little bit of something for everyone. And if you do want to pick up a pair, throw in code WhosImmortal at checkout and it'll get you a nice little discount. The link for that will be down in the description below if you're interested. And then another one here that I love is the Striker 9. So both strikers are super effective in the TAC stance movement here, but Striker 9 also very, agile to begin with and really is optimized for this kind of play, especially with like its mid-range here. It's actually kind of versatile for a TAC stance build. So again, bashed and angled grip here, and the hip shot L20 laser appears yet again here. 40 round mag would work, 50 would be that ultimate safety net though, in case you are missing a couple of shots here and there. Surprisingly, the light stock is doing the most here for your TAC stance spread versus no stock, which is only doing 7%. Light stock's doing 21, so you definitely want to be running that here instead. I was kind of surprised to see that. And then lastly, because it is a striker family tree weapon here, the TAC grip's also available, so doing a decent amount there as well. Regardless of which one of these options you want to go with, if you're a fan of TAC stance movement or just those style of gunfights, these are some of the best options in the game right now. Also, one more thing I did want to mention that I think is super important for TAC stance based gameplay is actually changing your TAC stance activation setting to be on toggle. This means that once you toggle on your TAC stance with whatever your keybind or input is to do that, it's always going to default to aiming you into TAC stance unless you go through and toggle it off. That way, if you end up getting knocked or you get taken out and you have to get bought back or you have to go in the gulag, whatever the case may be, then you're back in the game. It's going to always default back into that TAC stance and not reset you randomly or be different from gunfight to gunfight. This just keeps it a little bit more consistent. And I'm sure you can even build out some quirky ones with other guns as well. You know, when the Evolver was crazy broken for close range, a lot of people were running a TAC stance there. The Ram 7's seen some good builds in the past. So it's honestly a viable movement and setup option on a lot of different guns. It just comes down to, do you enjoy that style of play? If you do, you got some fun options for sure. That said, that's going to wrap things up. If you enjoyed the video, do me a favor and drop a like. And if you're new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button on your way out so you can always stay up to date with all things going on between MW3 and Warzone. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.